Welcome everyone back to episode 29 of the Pickleball Effect podcast. I'm Braydon. I'm joined today by Kyle Trenga.
How's it going, everybody?
So I've had Porter with me for a few episodes. If you've been following my journey along, he's now my third co-host, and
third time's a charm.
That's what we're hoping. So I had brought Porter on because I really liked what he was doing. I really liked his perspective, really enjoyed our conversations, and I wanted to do it in person. And we did those handful of episodes. And while I enjoyed our conversations, I just didn't feel like it was resonating with the audience and it wasn't quite getting the engagement we were hoping for there. And so, we talked about it. We decided to put the podcast on hold for a minute. So if you've been following the journey, the last few weeks have been a little slower. I haven't posted as many podcasts and just been rethinking on what I want to do here. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought about Kyle. And for a few reasons, I think he's going to bring a lot of unique perspectives to the podcast. One, he's just very in tune with the pickleball world, like news-wise. He's in every Facebook group, every Discord group, and just sees a lot more news and is in tune in that space more than I am. And so we've talked about him on the pod before. You may have seen him online. He's known as Cupcake Destroyer 88.
That's
but
me.
You don't shy away from who you are.
I don't. No anonymity for me. I will post my profile photo is me and my family. I'm not afraid to talk smack and let you know it's me.
Yeah,
so.
You're great that way. And I just love that you're not afraid to share your opinion, even if it's an unpopular one. And you call it bullcrap, and I love that. And so I know you're going to bring a lot of good takes. You're very opinionated. It's going to spark some discussion between us, and I'm sure
we'll have some disagreements. It'll be good.
Yeah, for sure. I hope so. And then, so there's that piece, and then you also own a company called Dink Smash Media. Tell us about that.
So Dink Smash Media, I noticed a lack of basically photography and videography being done in the valley of pickleball, and I've always been into doing videos and stuff way back when from like skateboarding, and I was like, I'm going to bring this to some pickleball. So basically I sold a bunch of paddles, made some money, bought camera equipment, and started a little media company. I shoot mainly local pros, so Susanna, Maria's like a pro coach, and just some athletes around the valley, making reels and stuff like that. Shoot for a few brands, Torch Eyewear out of Florida, recently Mizuno. Just trying to get my hand in anything I can in the pickleball space and hopefully grow that into something bigger. If not, I'm just having fun doing it. So
yeah, no, your stuff's really good, and it is refreshing to get some legit stuff in the area. I know a lot of the people and players here love it. Like, you'll come to events, you'll take pictures and sharing with people, and you're awesome, really well known in the area. And you're also, I guess we can call this like the Pickball Effect podcast, produced by Dink Smash Media. So we're up in the level.
We are multicam, as you'll notice from this video.
Yes.
Better, his audio's dialed in. It should be good.
Yeah, I'm really excited to up the production of this. I'm not the biggest video nerd, but I'm learning, and
but you're a nerd, so you just got to add the video.
But I am.
You already are a nerd.
I am a nerd. I got a bunch of new equipment this week. I'm gonna dive into that stuff. Excited to do that too, and I'll be learning a bunch from you.
It'll be fun.
And so it'll be fun. But yeah, we're up in the production level here, and hopefully you guys enjoy that piece of it. So Kyle, on the agenda today, we're gonna do 3 different segments. I'm just gonna talk about my trip I had. I was in Austin this week.
PPA.
The PPA. Talk about some experiences and chats I had there. Then we're gonna talk about a few paddles for Paddle Battle and some gear, and then we'll finish with what we're gonna call the Kyle's Corner. This is gonna be his segment. He's gonna bring the stuff he's been following. A
little bit of news, a little bit of drama,
yeah.
Maybe some controversial stuff,
yeah, all that
maybe some
stuff.
fun stuff. Yeah,
maybe that stuff's not. The other stuff wasn't fun.
It's all fun.
It's all fun. So we're gonna tackle those 3 segments today. So starting with just kind of my trip to Austin. So I've been chatting with Brian Lim of Building Pickleball. Do you follow his YouTube
I did
channel?
After I saw you said you were going to visit him, so I gave him a follow.
Yeah.
I think he gave me a follow too, actually. So
yeah, he's got that YouTube channel. He primarily does podcasts, like interviews, but he's got stuff with like Zane. He's done some stuff with Gearbox. But his big thing is just like upping the production level, doing everything in person. So I flew out there. We've been talking on Instagram for a while. He kind of came onto the scene, I think, about a year or so ago, and it was evident that he was trying to push the level of what was being done on YouTube, and so I caught on to that quick, and we've been chatting here back and forth, and we agreed to get together and do this podcast. So I got there Tuesday, stayed through Friday, so I hung out with Brian Wednesday and Thursday. He's just a super cool dude, like super down to earth. We played a ton of pickleball, had a lot of fun, and he has like a really unique background. Like he's done like MMA, he's done UX design, and he's 35 now. And now he's doing this full-time YouTube with pickleball, and he's all in on it.
That's awesome.
And so he's got a good thing going. We just talked about how we're gonna make it happen, and just really enjoyed it. Like the dude is he's jacked from his MMA days. He's still very active, and I've been getting into that. I know you're super active. You know that world really well. And
I'm fluffy, but I'm strong.
You're super strong. You're like, give us like your bench press and your squat numbers.
Bench press currently is 365, and squats actually pretty low. My squat's only like 400 pounds, but I can deadlift 500.
So like, okay, those numbers don't like necessarily mean anything to me, but like I understand like plates. Like how many plates are you squatting?
Squatting basically 4 plates, deadlift 5 plates. Bench press 3 plates plus like 25s and 5s.
That's a lot more than me.
I can bench press like 3 of you.
Yes. How much do you think I weigh?
I would guess 178.
165. Dude.
I was close.
I'm a twig.
I was close.
That was pretty good. But I want to gain some weight. Anyways, we talked a lot about that. I think so. We probably played like 2 or 3 2-hour sessions together with some other people, and he would bring multiple shirts. I think on purpose, just so he could take his shirt off in between games and just show off how jacked he was.
He's like Tyson. Well, Tyson actually has to though, just because he sweats through them.
Yeah. He wasn't afraid for the shirt.
Show
change.
it off.
And but no, he's going to this JOOLA event next week that we're going to talk about here in a minute. That we're both going to. But he's got a good thing going, and his studio's sick, and he's just a good dude, and I like supporting good dudes.
Absolutely.
So go give Building Pickleball a follow. He does really good stuff, and you'll appreciate his interviews. Interviewing is hard, and he does a really good job. He's very intentional with the questions he asks. We had a call the week before I went to like prep for it, and I hope the interview is good. We'll see how it turns out. I don't know when he's going to publish it, but it felt weird. I've never talked about myself so much, and I was like,
it's tough. It's a skill.
I don't know if people are going to like this. It felt weird, but hopefully it turns out good, and it's got some good information in it. But yeah, go follow him. So also while I was there, I attended the mixed day on the PPA in Austin. So
was it raining that day?
No, that was actually the best
Okay.
day. The weather's been kind of iffy and crazy.
Yeah, multiple venue changes.
Yeah, you were just telling me. I haven't been able to follow it since I got back, but like they delayed.
There was like there was like delays and then venue movements, and they had like ladies playing at a different venue than the men. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, so this one's been weird, but the day I went, it was really nice. So here's my 2 stories I'm going to tell you. The first one is, have you heard of Pickle Pro Labs?
That's really funny that you bring that up. I heard of them through Proton, because Proton told me that those guys certified their paddles at like the best everything. That's who was testing. That was who was testing their paddles. So
yeah,
that's all I know about them.
Okay, so I'll fill you in and people listening on who Pickle Pro Labs is. So they have a deal with the PPA where they do all the paddle testing for the PPA.
Okay.
So they do the deflection, the grit tests, and they do the on-site testing. So every pro player, before they can play in the tournament, have to get their paddle tested.
Yeah, they get a sticker, right?
Yep, they got the sticker on there. So Pickle Pro Labs are the people that are running it. So I had met one of the guys there. His name's Gary via Instagram. We were messaging, and he's like, "Dude, if you ever come to PPA, come find me." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd love to. That's my world.
That's your jam."
So I went and found Gary. They took me back to like this chamber where they're like running these tests. It's like this
they got the starets.
Yeah. So the starret, whatever they call it.
Whatever you call it.
They don't do that on every paddle, but they do deflection on every paddle.
Okay.
So they got this big machine that just kind of
pushes on a certain. Okay.
So I'm sitting there, and so every pro can test up to 3 paddles, has to get past. They have to do this every day before they start. So they're just bringing them in. We're just sitting there chatting, we're talking, and some paddles come in that have been iced.
Oh yeah, you haven't heard about that?
No.
Oh man, I heard about.
You're already on this?
Oh, absolutely. You put it in the ice box, and then you bring it out of the ice box for testing. It passes deflection, and then once it warms up, it's DLAM, and you're good to go.
I had never heard of it, but like I'm confirming that right now.
Oh yeah,
it's no longer.
I heard about that months ago. Months ago.
I had not, and I was like, "What? Like people are blatantly trying to cheat."
Yeah.
Right? And I saw the name on it. I'm not going to say it because they didn't want me to say it, but I was like,
"No dropping dimes."
Come on, man! And And the dude ended up losing like super early anyways. But like they're not fooling anyone. They just grab the paddle, let it warm up, and then test it later. And then maybe it makes a difference. I don't know. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this.
Anything you can do to get an edge.
I could like that's just okay. There's getting an edge, and then there's cheating, and that's cheating.
I agree.
And
have you heard of the paddle doctor?
A little bit.
Okay.
What is it?
Well, there's a guy like in Arizona that'll actually doctor your paddle. He'll basically juice your paddles.
And it still passes?
Yeah.
So he like gets it to the edge?
I guess. I mean, I don't know exactly what he's doing, but he's definitely basically corking bats, but with paddles.
If this dude's corking bats, but it's still passing without freezing the paddle,
no, exactly.
Like, okay,
is that really
it's still legal, like whatever. But like they were trying to pass an illegal paddle.
Yeah, I can see that.
Anyways, I thought that was enlightening.
A little shady.
A little shady. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, come on, bro. I was like, just play the game.
Just
like,
play better.
Go train
just
more.
Play better.
Just play better. Exactly. So that was one. Okay, then this is. I'm having like a personal crisis after this story. So I'm at the event. I'm wandering around, kind of sitting down in a random place. I'm just by myself. I'm not with anybody. And there was a handful of people that recognized me. We chat, and that's always fun. Like, yeah. I'm always surprised when someone like recognizes me. It's like, oh, I've seen you. I'm like, oh, cool. And then we chat for a minute. And it's fun. And so I sit down in the grandstand next to this guy. We're watching Zane and
Alshon? Or it was mixed day, right?
It was mixed day. It was Zane and Coop. And then they played Alshon. I forget who Alshon's partner was. But we're sitting there, and he's like, hey, I recognize you from your stuff. I was like, oh, cool. So we're talking a little bit, and then the conversation moved to like players promoting themselves, and we're like, oh, Tyson's done a really good job. Zane's done a really good job. We're like, man, I wonder why more people don't push that. And he's like, well, maybe not all players have a really good personality. And I joked and I said, well, I don't have a personality, and I do okay, but like trying to get some validation. Yeah. And he's like, you're right.
Ouch!
Like Kyle,
salt on the wound.
Do I have a personality?
You do. You're very reserved, but like you can laugh and you have a personality. Not everybody sees it. It's just like, I mean, same like on your Vegas trip. You're funnier than they thought you were. You got personality.
Yeah, that one hit home.
That's pretty funny.
But anyways, that was I thought that was a funny story. I was like, oh man, I really need to improve that.
You have to do some daily affirmations.
I need to do some daily. I'm just gonna call you every day. Like what you just said. That's what I was digging for. This guy, you know. It's like, he's like, Braydon, it's okay.
Braydon, you're a cool guy. You're smart. You're funny.
But no, he's like, you're right. But the way he's like,
you're a bump on a log. Sorry, bro. At least you're smart.
That's basically what he said. He's like, well, at least the information you have is really helpful, and I like it. And I was like, oh. But so I'm gonna try to develop a personality. Okay, and then I also chatted with some pros. So like we both know Susanna really well.
Yep.
And Susanna's fantastic. But I don't really have relationships with any other players. I don't know if you do. Maybe you've bantered with some.
I mean, I try to. I've slid into some DMs and Discord, and every once in a while I get some responses. But
you're more bold than I am. So I've had conversations with some, but a lot of them I haven't met. But I was sitting in the same grandstand court, and then Tyra Black she came sat next to me. Hey Tyra, what's up?
Did she know who you were?
She didn't.
Oh.
She was sitting next to. So she's with Pickle PIKKL. One of their founders, owner guys, was sitting next to her, and he had recognized me. But anyway, I was chatting with Tyra. We probably talked for like 20 minutes.
Okay.
And it was really fun. I wrote down all the stuff we talked about. Like,
she's pretty cool. She's cool on Discord. Like she'll take selfies and post it on the Discord. Like when they hooked her up with Guy.
Oh.
Like she took a selfie with him and posted it on the Discord for us.
Oh, cool.
So it was pretty funny.
Yeah. She was super down to earth. We talked about a bunch of different stuff, but one of the things I wanted to talk with you about was in relation to power and paddles. So she's like, when I first started, if I got hit by a ball, like, it would hurt, leave a mark, but nothing crazy. But she's like, now, if I get hit by a JOOLA, like, it leaves a bruise. Mm-hmm. And she referenced a couple tournaments where she got hit in the finger by a JOOLA, and her finger like swole up, and she just couldn't play as well as a result. And just noting how like powerful these paddles are getting.
Yeah.
And like I thought that was kind of an interesting perspective of because like now eyeglasses are getting more popular. Like a lot of people were, at least the women were wearing eyeglasses. The dudes seem to be refusing it a little bit.
I don't know though. Colin, there's a few. Yeah, there's a bunch of guys now wearing glasses that weren't wearing glasses before. So.
Yeah, overall, definitely more.
It's picking up
there, and like I don't know. What's your opinion on power battles? Like, do you think it really is like an issue, like for not just like playability, but like injuries and stuff?
So I think singles is always going to want more power, especially with guys like Jack Sock now that are absolutely annihilating the ball. Like I think dudes are going to need equipment that can get their like they're not able to hit the ball at the speed that he can hit the ball unless they get equipment that's going to aid them. But then again, that'll aid him to hit even harder.
Right.
So it is.
It'll never be equal.
Exactly. It'll never be equal. It'll never be an equalizer. But I see the singles game always wanting more power, but the injuries are coming. Eyeglasses I do see as being mandatory. I know people are like, no way, but like you have to wear a helmet in baseball. You got to wear pads in football. I mean, sports have safety regulations. I mean, it's just going to take one person to lose an eye.
Do you think glasses will become mandatory eventually?
I think eventually. Unless we cap exit velocity or the ball slows down. I think we're going to go to an exit velocity test, honestly.
Oh, 100%. I think Zane's talked about that before, they are moving that direction. But that makes so much more sense in deflection. Talking to the Pickle Pro Lab guys, I actually asked them that question. I was like, do you think there's a direct correlation between deflection and exit velocity? And they were kind of unsure about it. Like, they think there's definitely some sort of correlation, but like, is it like a one-for-one relationship?
I come from playing softball and like shaving bats. You thin out that wall, create more trampoline effect, deflection, and it's way higher exit velocity.
Yeah.
That's why you can't shave your bats.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a correlation there, whether it's like perfectly aligned. I don't know, because you may have some with the same deflection, but some are hotter because
material
or another.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's going to be other variables.
Yeah, and so exit velocity makes more sense than I think deflection for sure.
My only question with exit velocity is like repeatability, though. All these paddles are coming from China, QC. Do you have like a tolerance?
I mean, they would have to have on-site testing still.
It'd be a cool machine to see.
How would they do that?
Because we're going to have to create something that hits. It's going to have to hit the ball at the same speed every single time with every paddle to generate enough force to create that maximum exit velocity.
That's what they have in their like home office. So really? They have like an enclosed cage that has like a gun that shoots.
Okay.
So it is what you just said.
Sweet.
But I don't know if they'll be able to do that
on site.
Yeah.
Big money. I mean, we don't even have line cameras, so I don't know where we're going to get money to do that.
So I would imagine. I know they're going to have to do the exit velocity. They're going to have to pass some sort of exit velocity test in their like main lab, but on site, they'll have to see with deflection. I would think.
I was going to say, you go for your like full approval. You do exit velocity on site. You just go to an easier test like deflection. You'd have to. But so you'd still get to have a problem. People basically corking their bats, altering the pattern.
Potentially. So like if we do, I haven't even thought of this, but that's a great point. Like if we do move to exit velocity to measure paddles, okay, they pass the one-time test. But that doesn't solve the problem.
No, exactly. Well, it'll solve it as far as like exit velocity safety of like the normal pickleball players, but no pros still.
Yeah, because they might be corking or thinning their walls or
whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about how they're altering. Like, I don't know if they're changing core materials or because that's the thing. It's not like a bat. You don't just thin out. You're not thinning out your carbon and all of a sudden it's hotter. Maybe you are. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I didn't ever really consider that till now, but that only like partly solves the problem. It doesn't really fully solve it. And when you watch, so I haven't seen like you watch the pros hit these YOLAs. The YOLAs are the hot topic right now with the heat, right? And like when you watch Deckel drive and hit, like he just annihilates the ball. Absolutely. Like in person, like he is just absolutely crushing it, and like they're handling it well.
His serve. What's his serve look like in person? Because it looks like it's coming.
He's ripping.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take my speed gun with me to this Yola event.
Oh, sweet.
I'm gonna clock them.
Okay.
I want to see what they're coming in at. So like when I do my speed test for serves, I'm coming in around like 55 on a big hit. I think we did it with you. It was around that 55 miles per hour.
It was a couple faster than you.
You were a little harder than me.
But it was only like 3 to 4 miles an hour faster. It wasn't crazy.
I'm very interested to see.
I heard he's in the 60s consistently. So,
and that's a lot on a short court.
Yes.
It's coming fast. Plus the spin on top of it causes issues.
Well, he's tall, so that ball's coming down.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just absolutely smoking. And his drives are just... And he hits a lot of stuff out, too. Like, they let stuff go, and they were going out. Like, that's still a challenge. But he just crushes it. And, like, yes, like, if I can see it being an issue, like, especially for an amateur maybe who can't handle that ball, and then, like, it's flinging and hitting their partner. Like, they got to find a way to curb it.
I think so.
And then, but this brings me to another... Reminds me of, like, I talked with Mary Brasha at the airport. We were, like, in the same, like, gate. So we were chatting for, like, a half hour. And the topic of Vulcan balls come up. So she's like,
trash.
I was like sitting next to her, like messing with my camera, and her and her mom were traveling together and talking. And so I could hear him. I listened to their conversation for a few minutes before I introduced myself. So I introduced myself, and they're like, "Oh, well, we normally don't complain this much. We swear."
Like crap, this guy knows about pickleball, and we're over here just talking smack. That's awesome.
And but we were talking about the ball. And how it just the irregular bounce, and she calls them Vulcan points when it gets a really wonky bounce on it, and like it just wasn't happening before the Vulcan ball came around. And I think part of it maybe be the ball is just doesn't bounce as right as other ones. It can give you weird stuff, but I wonder if the power is part of the cause of the bounce. Like, they're hitting it harder this year than they were last year when they had Duras. Like, if it was a Dura this year with this power we have now, I wonder if it would be the same bounce as something to the Vulcan ball.
Well, I mean, you see a lot of people though with the same paddles from last year, like the Power Air. That hasn't changed.
Good point.
So, but no, the JOOLA is the newest. That's the newest power pad. And everybody I've talked to that's played against somebody that plays with one of those alphas is like, they're coming. Like those paddles are humming. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So. The ball's certainly an issue, but I think the power only accentuates the issue and gives you even funkier bounces.
Absolutely, I think so.
And it just depends on how it lands. Like, I've heard people describe it like, okay, if it lands right on a hole, then it stays low, and if it lands on one like the nodules, the ball, you just get funky stuff.
We noticed it when we played, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We played one game with the Vulcan, and basically anybody who was serving had a huge advantage. The game was so different the next game when we switched balls.
Yeah, great point.
Same teams. Very different outcome when we switch balls.
You're right, especially on your serve because you have a big serve.
Because I have a heavy serve with heavy topspin, and it scored a lot of points. We switched to a slower. I don't remember what ball we switched.
We switched to the chuck.
Oh, we did. We did the chuck. Way less. I got way less points off my serve.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. So Vulcan points. Now you know.
There's a new formula though. I saw that they reformulated the ball.
Did they?
So I feel like I should get since I spent $30 on 6 balls, they should send me another 6 for free.
Yeah, tell me about this.
Discord, they were talking that they were reformulating the ball because so many pros were complaining about it.
So was that the result of like that committee that got together?
I think so. That committee didn't get talked about a ton other than like who was on it, and then I didn't see much come from it. So, like there was rumors of like boycotting the ball and none of that. I mean, everybody wants to get paid. Nobody's boycotting anything.
I remember you messaged me. So for those hearing this for the first time, maybe like a month ago.
It was a month or two ago.
There was talk of like some pro players getting together to advocate for a different ball.
Exactly, yeah.
And apparently they got it. But we don't know.
Well, no, it's going to be, I mean, Vulcan's going to keep the contract, so Vulcan's probably like, hey, we'll just change the ball, make you guys happy. But, I mean, that was a big contract, so they're not going to switch balls. Speaking of switching balls, though, APP did switch balls.
Yeah, what are they with now?
Well, I remember they were going to be Owl, but they're Franklin's.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were Franklin's. Yeah, that was a little bit. I do remember that because, they announced the Owl ball, and our boy Dom had one.
Yeah, he had an Owl ball. Yeah, I saw it. He had it. And then the other day I saw Suzanne and her partner getting ready for the U.S. Open or whatever, and they were talking, and they were like, oh, no, they're using the X40s.
Yeah, they're X40s now. Yeah, I wonder what happened there. I don't know the story.
No clue.
Yeah, so sticking with JOOLA, so next week we'll jump into some more paddle babble here. So I'm attending like the JOOLA launch event. It's in New Orleans. So they're having a bunch of creators come out, and they did like a giveaway thing. I don't know if you saw JOOLA announcing that.
The giveaway's Malphas?
No, a giveaway like for some people to come attend.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
But like all their pros are coming, and it's basically a conference to just kind of announce their new paddles, explain their lineup, and like what's going on there.
So is it like their version of Diacon?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you did Diacon.
I did, yeah, okay.
So yeah, Diadem did this. Was this their second one?
Yeah, second one.
Second one. And you went to that.
I did.
And they announced their court burst.
Their shoes, which I got the shoes. Everybody that went got a free pair of shoes.
Yeah.
So those just came in last week.
So it's the same idea as that.
Exactly.
And I think they both did it last year. Like Diadem did it last year with the Vice. JOOLA did this last year when they announced the Perseus and the Scorpius and stuff. So they're launching with a ton of different models.
Okay.
Like they have the Magnus for Tyson. They're sticking with the Perseus and the Scorpius stuff, and then I think they might have like a Curve like C2 upgrade.
Okay.
Anyway, so we're gonna get the deets on like what the actual construction is, and we're all gonna get a chance to play with them.
Maybe you'll get one.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So they said, well, they had us fill out a form to pick which one we wanted.
Okay.
So I said I wanted the Perseus 16 just because I felt like,
oh man, I would have wanted Tyson's paddle.
But I better not walk away with just one. Like, I better come home with.
You'd be like, do you know who I am? I'm Pickleball Effect. Give me 4 paddles. You want reviews? Give me paddles.
For real though, like it's so hard to judge and review a whole series based off one paddle. Yeah. You can't do it.
No, I mean, I haven't played much with JOOLAs, but I've heard like the Scorpius versus like the Perseus is like hugely different. Like, yeah, I've heard Anna Bright's is like the most popular out of all of them.
Yeah, that one does really well. That one was one of my favorites too. And yeah, so I'm gonna do my best to come home with more than just one. I at least want a Scorpius or like an elongated and a standard. Yeah. I'm gonna try to get the Scorpius 16. That's Colin's version, just because I feel like if it is as hot as it is, then you're gonna want a little extra forgiveness. You might benefit from that. And like standard shape paddles have a lot of benefits to them, but they usually lack power. So if this has power, it could be a really good combination of like hand speed, forgiveness, and power that we just haven't seen yet. That'd be cool. Which is part of the reason I really like my Volair Mach 2 14. Is because it's forgiving. It's got some nice pop off it, and I'm turning more and more into an advocate for standard shape paddles, and I've been kind of pitching it to people like when I'm giving advice, I'm like, hey, try this out, and I've gotten a lot of really good feedback on that wider shape, and I'm just not as good as I think I am, so it helps having that little extra forgiveness. But so yeah, excited about that. I don't know if you guys will be interested, but I have the itinerary. I'll just gonna kind of read it off so you can see what we're doing. So this is today. We're recording on Sunday. We're gonna publish this on Tuesday.
Yep.
So I'm flying out tomorrow morning. My flight's at 5 a.m. Ugh.
That'll be fun.
Not excited for that.
Oh, it's you taking an Uber? Or you're making your wife and kids get up?
My wife's taking me.
Man,
she's such a champ, dude. She picked me up from the airport the other night when I got home. I got home Friday night at like 12:30.
And she brings the kids
and
too?
She just lugged the kids.
Oh man, she's a trooper.
She's such a champ. She's too good to me. But yeah, that's gonna be a long flight. But yeah, so I get in Monday. They're putting us up in a hotel. We just had to like buy flights. Cool. And then so the event actually starts on Tuesday. So it says 12:30, we're doing lunch. Some place called this. You're telling me you've been in New Orleans a lot.
I have.
I'm hoping this place has
I used to fly out of there all the time. Yeah, you got to try alligator, frog legs, cracklings. You got to try it all.
They really eat alligator?
Yeah. Deep fried alligator, and they like serve it with like cheese. Oh, yeah, it's good.
Is it like tough?
Not when it's deep fried. I mean, everything's good deep fried. I'm sure it'd be tough if it was just like boiled.
Does it taste different though?
I mean, I thought it tasted good.
Yeah, I mean, everything like it's unique. It's its own thing.
Chicken-ish.
Tastes like chicken.
But yeah, I tried deep fried with cheese though. So I mean
that helps.
So if it didn't taste good, the breading and the cheese kind of.
So really, the meat sucks, and they're trying to hide it.
It's possible. I mean, that's how I feel about catfish too.
But putting alligator on the menu just looks good.
It's cool. Was it the Swamp Monsters or whatever that show is where they hunt alligators? You ever seen that?
Yeah. They're crazy. I could see you taking down an alligator.
I would 100% hunt an alligator. That would be sweet.
Oh, so good. So I'm gonna be looking for some alligator meat at Rack House, and then at 2 we're taking a bus over to the place called. I don't know. I didn't look it up yet, but we're playing pickleball there for like till 6. And they're just gonna introduce the Gen 3 paddles. Everyone's gonna play with them. So a lot of pickleball.
Your favorite format, round robin?
Yeah, I'll probably do some round robins. Get my butt whipped. Hoping to hopefully get some content. I'm gonna take my radar gun, like I said. I'm gonna take my swing weight machine. I just want to measure their paddles. Like I want to see what they are. I don't know what they are.
They're going to be like, sir, you can't test these. Speaking of these paddles, did you hear that they don't want anybody other than sponsored pros playing with them? I saw on Tennis Sucks, they said basically, if you show up to a tournament with the JOOLA, the Alphas, and you're not a sponsored player, you can't play with it.
What?
Yeah. I don't know how they enforce that. But
so like if they sent one to their sponsored
because
player, they didn't like it.
Because they're still getting around. I mean, people are, they're popping up.
Yeah, they're moving around.
So
Huh. I didn't hear that. Well, that's going to have to change soon because they're going to start selling them.
Exactly. Well, I'm sure the design, like, is there going to be a design to them that was not on, like, that we're not seeing? Because they all do just, like, black paddles.
Yeah, it'll be the same as they did with the original Perseus launch, how like they had the alphas and then launch had like a design on them. It'll be the same here. So if you like the alpha look, sorry.
Tough luck.
That'll be our first time touching the paddles, and then they're doing like a little what they're calling like a refreshments reception thing from 7:30 to 9 that night, where we get special beverages.
Ooh, alcohol?
And heavy appetizers.
Heavy appetizers?
So deep fried.
Oh, that makes sense.
I don't know.
Beignets?
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
Man, you're gonna have fun in New Orleans.
That sounds like a toilet thing.
No, it's not a bidet.
What is it?
It's like a little they're like fried. It's like a donut to me, but it's like fried and has like powdered sugar on it, and kind of like a scone, like you would get at Marriott's.
It sounds delicious.
They're delicious.
I'm gonna get myself a little bidet.
A little bidet, beignet.
This will be good for me, dude. I'm gonna get so cultured from all these trips.
You gotta go to see some jazz, see some people play some saxophone or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'll have some time that morning. Do they do morning jazz sessions?
Those guys are the ones who put like the dollar in the hat. I'm sure there's some guys on the street.
Well, yeah, I may not be able. Actually, I might be able to the next day. So the next day we have an early breakfast from 7:30 to 8:30 at the. We were staying.
Sounds fancy.
I haven't looked up anything. It better be.
Sounds like a step up of Motel 6.
Yeah,
it's got a name. Like, yeah. How do you get your name on a? We gotta look that up after. How do you get your name on a hotel?
She's probably a jazz player.
Probably.
Then at 9 a.m. we're going back to play more pickball until 12. So it's basically just a big open play session.
Sounds
all the time.
Awesome.
But with the pros, they're I think they're saying like they're all going to be there, so it'll be really fun to meet them all. Hopefully we can chat and get some measurements and see. I just think it'd be fun to do a video on everyone's setup and swing weight. Like I'm fascinated by that.
You should ask Deckel to see if he'll body bag you just for content. You don't get a hold of paddle. You stand at the line,
take a serve,
just like Happy Gilmore style. 364 days till hockey season. Give it to me.
I'm doing it, dude. Do it before and after. I'll just
and then we can see the welts after.
I'm gonna make Brian do it. Brian's gonna be there. He's got the washboard abs, so he won't be afraid to show it off.
That would be great content. I like that.
Yeah, that's gonna make Brian famous. That's it. I'm gonna pitch that to him.
I like it.
That's such a good idea.
We were talking about it on the Discord. I was debating on doing it with the Ernie machine because I didn't realize how fast the Ernie machines are.
How fast do they go?
I guess 140 kilometers.
That's a ball machine if you don't know.
So I use the lobster at the non-volley zone line, and I stand at the other line and I block all day long at full speed. But Neil, I don't know how to say his last name. He's a pro, but he put it all the way at the baseline. He stood at the non-volley zone and he couldn't block at full speed coming from the baseline.
It's too fast?
Yeah.
140. I don't know what's that. Was that in like human?
70 something miles an hour, I think. Right?
Yeah,
it's basically half.
Is that half? Is that what it is?
I don't know. We're Americans. Yeah, we don't know metrics.
Although ever since I've been doing reviews, like millimeters is like I know what they are now.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, 16 millimeters.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I had notes on here talking about the bread and butter and their new Shogun and Vanguard control series, but I'm gonna put those for next week because we talked more about the YOLO stuff than I intended. We're trying to keep this
a little shorter
than past, so we're gonna skip those. Let's jump to Kyle's corner.
All right, so what do we got? Big news. Well, it's bread and butter. Did you hear about the Fat Boy getting shut down by Valair?
Yeah.
Valair patent that wide body shape, or their patent pending. So anybody that's going for that shape apparently is going to get a cease and desist. How do you feel about? Because the thing, like your specs on what you can do with paddle shape is pretty defined, like length, whatever. So you only have so much to work with. How do you feel about a shape being patent? Because there's only so many shapes you can do within like your criteria you're given.
Right. It is kind of a weird thing. Like I don't think you can patent like, okay, this is 16 by 8. You can't do it. You can't patent that. But maybe like the curve or the taper of the head.
Well, I feel like the
itself.
Maverick to me is like more unique than the wide body.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems kind of weird to me. Like I know 6-0 has a patent on their like hybrid shape that they have.
On the one that looks like the logo?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so Loco actually licenses that shape from 6-0. And I know that they pushed that patent or try to, they went for it. They're trying to use it, right? Which makes sense.
Okay.
But yeah, patents is becoming a bigger thing in paddle technology, and like, which I think is cool. Like, if you develop something, it should be yours. I feel like, but there are some weird spaces like shapes.
Yeah, shapes to me like I'm more like construction. Like if you come up with like some secret sauce to like construction. Core material, like you come up with some comment like this titanium carbon face, whatever. If it ends up being awesome, like shape to me is just weird. I don't know.
I agree. That one doesn't feel right in the gut, but if it works, if they can do it,
it is what it is.
If I was making a paddle cup and I could patent a shape and the shape is popular, I would do it.
Oh, business wise it makes sense. So it'll remain to be seen if we see that fat boy.
Yeah, and Gearbox has patented a bunch of their tech.
Yeah, but Gearbox, like their construction is. Have you watched that video where they showed like the carbon and stuff in the? Like, it's so different than any other paddle being constructed.
Mm-hmm. So I think patents is a cool thing. Like,
all right,
protect your stuff.
Braydon is pro patent. Rumor: Lifetime Fitness buying Eagle Tennis Club. So those of you guys that don't know, we're in Boise. Eagle's right next to Boise. Eagle Tennis Club was kind of our first indoor option that had hard court surfaces. I think they can fit. How many pickleball courts can they fit in there?
So when they have them running on both sides,
12?
It's something like that.
Okay, it's like 12. So there's a rumor going around that Lifetime Fitness is buying them, which I think could be big for Boise in terms of just access to courts. We only have 2 indoor legit hard court surface venues currently. So that'll be interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. More courts, better. And you had mentioned that like there's talks of bigger events coming here, and having both venues that are close. That way you can like bring forces together, have tons of court options. I think it opens up what type of events can come here, which I think is cool.
Bring us some PPAs.
Yeah, bring us some
or
APPs. We don't care.
Whatever you can bring us. Okay, I have a surprise for you.
So. Going back to Lifetime though, like, have you heard it? Like, are there any cons? Like,
I don't see any cons, in my opinion. I think that Eagle's a good place based on like the demographic and the money that's down there, because the Lifetime Fitness memberships are a little more expensive than here. I did some research, and memberships like $200 at some of the facilities
a month.
Yeah, so you're talking $70 more than here.
And some people weren't happy with the prices here.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was super reasonable.
Absolutely reasonable. I mean, you just go to a CrossFit gym. It's like $170 a month.
I pay more to send my girl to gymnastics for a half hour once a week.
Ouch.
Why is that ouch? That's just what stuff
I know. Both my kids are in gymnastics, so I feel you.
Yeah.
I do have a surprise for you.
Okay, yes. So Kyle texted me earlier this week. Said, Braydon, I got a new trading tool. I'm going to bust out on the pod. I'm not going to tell you what it is. So I like sending some links to them because of this. Is it this? And apparently it fits in your pocket.
It fits in my pocket. So I was on Instagram, as usual, just trolling around, and I saw this weird announcement. It had like Cali. I think Elise was there too. It was a couple of Utah. I think it was Utah pros. And there was like this big convention. Like it almost looked like, it was almost a Diacon. Like they had these things in like a glass case, and they were pumping it up as this like new warm-up tool. It's $30. I bought them. I'm going to surprise them. BZER, the warm-up balls.
Okay.
Have you seen this?
I actually have one.
Oh, you have one?
I've never tried it. So like a random company like sent them to me.
I wonder if is this the company?
No. Oh. It was Thrive. They don't sell them, but they sent them to me.
So I think it's kind of like that Sweet Spot paddle, but it's the opposite. Instead of the small paddle, you get the small ball.
Dude, these things are hilarious. I can't get it out. Ooh, it's soft.
Yeah, they're soft, and like I think we should play a game of skinny singles with it.
So the idea, just like it's hard to take serious. It's hard to take these serious.
3 balls was like $30, so
It was $30.
Oh yeah. It was.
These have to cost less than a Vulcan.
Oh, these probably cost like 2 cents to make.
$30. You gotta be kidding me.
A little squishy.
Why are they so expensive?
I don't know. I think it's probably patented. Pro patent boy.
Sorry, Thrive. These are patented.
But
better warm up, better training, better pickleball.
So we're gonna have to try these after this podcast. We'll go out there and warm up with these balls and see.
But like, how's this gonna make us better? At
hand-eye coordination.
Just because it's smaller?
It's smaller. It's the same thing with like the small paddle. I forgot. Engaged.
But the paddle's still big. It's not going to make it harder to hit this ball.
I guess we'll see. I don't know.
I do wonder if it'll be faster.
Rip some serves at each other? They were mainly dinking in the videos, so I don't know how it, like, if it plays like a real ball. I'm curious.
Like, could you hit this over the net, like from the baseline?
We're gonna try.
We're good. So you haven't hit one yet?
I haven't hit one yet. I just opened it.
We'll go hit these and report back. But dude, this is gonna revolutionize
pickleball. Maybe this is the solution to the Vulcan ball. We go smaller ball.
We haven't tried that yet.
But this could definitely hit you in the eye.
Yeah, what a weird name. Bazer?
Yeah, I don't even know how to say it.
Bazer?
I didn't even contact them. I actually paid for it. They definitely didn't hook me up. I wasted my hard-earned cash. $30, 3 balls.
Oh, these are fantastic.
Let's go.
I love them.
I'll cherish these.
I just want to just hold it.
It's sad because I have something similar that was given to me at not Diacon. Maybe it was Diacon, but it's just like a keychain.
Yeah, this is like a keychain
It's like the
thing.
keychain ball. So
my little girls are gonna love this.
Yeah. So we'll see how they
It'll
play.
fit their mini. That's hilarious. Okay, we're definitely trying those out.
And then last thing, MLP schedule release. Funny thing about MLP, did you see the announcement where Vibe, the 6 teams have joined the MLP, and now we're one cohesive unit?
Did they need to do that?
Did Vibe ever exist? All Vibe was some hoodies.
I think
Vibe was hooded sweatshirts. That was there was apparel. It was merch. There was no. So that was kind of a weird announcement. But I'm glad MLP is moving forward. First event, Atlanta. It was rumored to be in Florida. Now the draft's happening next week, and then Atlanta will be the first event. But it will be cool. We talked about it. PPA followed by MLP, same venue. Mm-hmm. So that's nice on the pros too, not having to hop and jump different places if they're playing in both.
But that makes for really long 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Those contracts better be worth it. I mean, these guys are getting paid now. So
yeah. So that's May 9th. Yeah, the whole contract thing's been weird. So Riley Newman wasn't at the most recent PPA.
Told you. We talked about that last week.
Yeah. I think
so Riley, I think Tyson, they kept the money, didn't renegotiate. So I think we'll see him at less events.
If you haven't been clued in on what's going on there, so PPA, MLP merged. They started renegotiating contracts with the players.
Yes.
So a lot of players they took a pay cut, renegotiated so they could play. I'm not privy to all that information.
There was a bunch of different you could renegotiate your contract with that pay cut. You could take your money that was offered in the beginning, which was way higher, obviously. I think 40% higher. But if you took the money, you had to do 200-something days of events, clinics, etc. So a lot of working days. Where if you did renegotiate, you got less money, but then you were only obligated events. Travis Retmeyer talked about it. He's not allowed to. They all sign NDAs, all of them for everything. But it went from days to events. So you're obligated to X number of events versus X number of days. So that's nice. But then there was a third thing where certain pros, a lot of the ones under Hype Nation, which is I think their agency, they've got their contracts bought out. So they're under a contract that's not even related to PPA.
What does that even
and MLP.
mean?
So I think somebody bought their contract. So I think they're going to be more the
somebody.
APP.
Who's somebody?
I'm not privy to that information, and they're also.
I know. Makes sense to me.
Well, I know one of the pros who had their contract bought out. She signed an NDA. So she won't tell me.
Non-PPA group bought the contract.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was APP or if it's maybe this World Series of Pickleball type stuff that's going to be going on with the international stuff. So there still could be some. I don't want to call it tour wars again, but I still think we're going to see some division somewhere. And the Johnsons didn't sign.
Yeah, they played an APP.
They've been playing APP. They're going to crush APP.
And
so that's the thing.
Georgia Triple Crown.
Yeah. She played lights out, man. Like it was awesome.
Although she and her bro didn't do well,
not as good
in Austin. They lost early, but yeah. So there's that, and then now going back to Riley. So Riley is, I think, confirmed. We think it's confirmed that he did not. Take the pay cut.
It was confirmed that he did not take the pay cut. So somebody's speculation was that if he won every PPA event, it still wouldn't be the amount of money that his original contract with MLP was. So he's like, pay me.
So for some reason that means he doesn't have to play in PPA events?
Well, no, then he's not obligated to do anything.
Because he signed with MLP, right? So he took the MLP contract, which means he has to play MLP stuff, but not necessarily PPA events.
Well, he has to do those 200 days of clinics or whatever, that wild stuff.
So he hasn't been in the last 2 PPA events, and speculation is because he doesn't have to.
That's the speculation.
And then there's also speculation around Tyson.
We can only assume Tyson's contract was actually massive,
we think he took the money, right?
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, he earned it. So I think of not of all of them, but like he was definitely one of the players who really pushed his brand. It's really impressive what he's built.
Yeah, we're from Idaho. Selkirk was people love to hate on Tyson. Tyson built Selkirk.
It's pretty cool.
And now they have a bunch of other pros, but Tyson was the Selkirk pro.
He's a big part
for a long time.
Yeah.
Boomers love him.
But it's really cool what he's built with his camps, his content. He really pushed it. He's the first one really pushing it, pushing it instructional.
His YouTube videos, the instructional ones were the first ones I watched. Yeah. I was like, these are legit.
Yeah, they were good. And so we're seeing more pros do that, but he was certainly the first, and he built up a big audience, and I think he deserves a pay. So I actually asked Tyra that. She was like, yeah, I don't think Riley's coming because of this. But for Tyson, she said, I'm not sure.
Or is he injured?
He might be injured.
Yeah, he's always injured. Ever since he switched to Skechers.
You used to wear Skechers.
I know.
You're not a fan of Skechers?
They're okay. They wear. I'm a big guy. I wear all my shoes out pretty fast. So.
That's funny. But I'm not 100% of why he may not be.
Yeah, we'll see. It's 2 events in a row that I'm like, he's not there. It's kind of jiving with he took the money. So we'll see.
Well, cool, man. That's gonna. So I did have one more topic here. But I think we're going to push this one to next week. I was going to talk about my black book for Boise.
Black book for Boise? Yes. You taking notes on all of us?
I've been taking notes.
Can you at least tell the notes on what notes you got on me?
Do you want me to read you some? Okay, I'll just do it.
Okay.
Just because I think it's kind of fun. So I recently finished the book, Winning Ugly by Brad Gilbert. And one of the things he kind of suggests is to just pay more attention to strategy when you're playing and just try to figure out what your opponent's weaknesses are, what they're good at, what they're bad at, know what you're good at, know what you're bad at, and then try to put your strengths against theirs, or at least take away their more opportunities for them to use their strengths.
Lean into your strengths and lean into their weaknesses. Basically.
Yeah, and try to take away their stuff. So it's not, and by doing this, you don't have to improve your strokes, you don't have to necessarily improve your game. You're just going to play it a little bit differently, because the way I beat Kyle is going to be different than the way I beat somebody else. And if I just play the same way every time, it's to my disadvantage.
Absolutely.
And so he talks about what he calls a black book of what he kept on all the players on tour. He was a touring tennis player in the 80s and 90s, and he was known for not having the prettiest strokes or the best game, but he was just very big on playing the game he needed to play to beat whoever it was. And so he shared some of the notes he had on people and how he would think about writing these things down. And so I have a lot of film from my reviews.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
So over the years, so I went and pulled up some old games and just started taking notes of, this is when they're winning points and this is when they're losing, and just kind of figuring out what they're good at and what they're bad at. I've always sort of done that in my head, but not to the same degree. Not written down. And so I created a new note in my phone. So if someone ever steals my phone, they might be able to
have good strategies on everybody.
So let me find it here. I call it the Black Book of Boise, but I'll read some of the stuff I wrote down, because maybe you'll find it interesting on what you can do when you're thinking about this with people you play with, whether it's even if it's just rec play, it's still fun to win, and this is how you can win more, and especially in tournaments. Local tournaments, people, but this is a little trickier in out-of-town tournaments because you don't know them. But if you can scout them out, go pay attention to those things. So here's what I wrote for one player. said he likes to step in from the baseline or midcourt to attack floaters out of the air. So just take that away. So sometimes I'm like more aggressive off the bounce when they're in the midcourt.
Yeah.
But with this player, when I do that, he can punish balls that are a little bit higher better than other people can. But in a lot of cases, that can make people make mistakes. And so just don't do that against him. Don't give him that option to step in and whip those. And then for the same player, I noted he just doesn't do much with the ball when you drop it or drive it at him. And so he's kind of a free ticket to the kitchen line. Okay. So if you're playing him, either drive or drop the ball to him because he doesn't look to be aggressive off that.
Definitely not me.
But like this player is super good, but I never really thought of that or noticed that before. And it's like, okay, if I'm playing him, I'm gonna use him to get to the kitchen. So that was one hint. That was one part. Okay, another guy. I said, okay, this guy has incredible hand speed, especially in the middle. And so when you attack the ball, look to attack down the line. Don't attack 50-50 balls. Be a little more patient. Look for better opportunities to attack. Be a little more unpredictable with your locations.
Is that Abe Jackson?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. I knew it.
All right, Abe, I'm going to tell you what else I got on you.
I only know that because I have really good hands. That's my strength. And I know he has really good hands. And I know I shouldn't challenge his hands because 100% is just 50-50, but I just want to do it anyway.
That's great. But this is what else I got on Abe. I play a lot of tournaments with Abe, and we're really good friends. So I know he'll get a laugh at this. And but here's the other things. I have more notes on him because I play with him a lot. But he leans in and attacks out of the air a lot.
Because he's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, he's incredibly good at that. But he's not as good off the bounce attacking. Like he will do it, but he's more effective when he's leaning in.
Absolutely.
So just look to don't be as aggressive with things. Keep them more shallow, rather than to put pressure. Be like aggressive dinking because he can do some damage to you there. And then also just be aware of that when you're dropping to him, he's going to lean in. He's going to try to go for stuff. So when he does go for it, look to attack off of thirds and drives because he might leave some up because he looks to be aggressive there, or just know that's coming so that you can reset it because that's what he likes to do. I said he's not as strong in the midcourt and likes to kind of attack there to compensate that when possible. So he can get overly aggressive on balls that aren't as attackable. So if you don't go at him, leave stuff a little shorter and lower, get some good tops in, you can sometimes get some points, or he'll give you a shot that's not as quality.
Got it.
And then he goes for a lot on speed ups, or sorry, other way around. We both have this issue or challenge, I guess. Like we hit out balls, people hit balls at us that are going
out, and you still hit them. I think that.
So he has this combination where he likes to lean in, but also has a tendency to go for balls. So look to body bag him sometimes. Go hard at his chest.
Rip some balls that are going out, but you think he's going to touch.
I think he's going to touch because he's always looking for that counter. And so those are some of the notes I put down. But those are things to think about or to consider when you're playing players. And Abe beats me more than I beat him. He's a phenomenal player, and I haven't played him since I wrote these down. So we'll see if it changes.
I like it.
And but there you go, Abe.
That could have been your section in your 3-0 to 5-0. That's a big one. Taking notes on your opponents, that's a big one. There's our pod for the day. We'll see what Abe throws into the comments. He may not be my partner anymore. he's like, challenge these hands, boys.
Yeah, I'll show you what these hands can do. But everyone, thanks for tuning in. Really happy to have Kyle here, and
glad to be here.
Looking forward to doing this every week. We're going to start publishing these every Tuesday, and here we go.
All right, have a great day.
Thanks all.